Here's what we know tonight about a possible development that could include a data center in Salix, Iowa. MidAmerican Energy has options on 900 acres of recently annexed ag land in Salix. This is Skylink 4 drone video of that land, which mostly lies to the north and to the east of that town. MidAmerican Energy VP Adam Jablonski tells KTIV it's likely a data center, but that hasn't been confirmed. The land was annexed last month, and city officials previously said no zoning changes were planned. A zoning change would be required for any development. We're told that process could take months. Last night's city council meeting drew a packed crowd with split opinions, concerns versus economic opportunity. Mayor Kevin Nelson confirmed no immediate city council vote for now. The conversation continues tonight. We have Team 4 coverage on the issue. KTIV's Sophie Wyckoff is with LiveLink 4 in downtown Sioux City with more from MidAmerican Energy tonight. But we begin with KTIV's Taylor Deckard, who spoke with some Salix residents to get their take on the proposed project.
Yes, Matt. One woman I spoke with worries that across from her front yard in Salix could soon be the site of a data center. Some residents say they feel like they've been left in the dark on this potential land development.
So it directly affects us.
Janet Yannick has lived in the Salix area for her whole life. Right across the road from her house is the land that could house a data center, according to MidAmerican Energy.
One side of me is now Salix, where they'll put the data center, and on the north side of that very same road is where I live and my husband has lived his entire life.
This farmland that is 1.5 miles long and 1 mile wide could be home to a data center.
It's very well stated in their letter that a data center is what is going on.
Following Wednesday night's city council meeting, some community members said they left with more questions than answers.
I had expectations from the last meeting with the understanding that they were going to answer some questions for us. That did not really happen.
Well, Mayor Kevin Nelson says the city council was made aware of plans to annex the land a few months ago. He said this council was unaware of the data center plans until Wednesday night's city council meeting. But he said he did have his suspicions for a few months.
Motivations of the landowners is completely up to the landowners and their motivations as such. I and the city council were aware from our discussions with MidAmerican beforehand that we suspected it's because of a potential development, but we didn't have any direct conversations with any of the landowners.
At Wednesday night's meeting, one resident asked for a 1-year moratorium on development of the land.
To give them more time to go over everything, because I felt like they just haven't really looked into this.
Nelson called that an unnecessary step. He says the conversation continues on the future of the land.
Because there's no zoning change request at the moment, so it would be unnecessary at this juncture. But ultimately, it's up to the city council if they want to pursue that.
It was a decent meeting. I was happy to see there were a lot of people there. As far as the council giving answers to questions that people asked, that did not happen.
As we've said, the city says right now there's nothing to vote related to the land development, but some residents of Salix say there's everything to talk about. So community members will get together for a conversation about the potential data center. That's happening on Monday, June 15th at 7 p.m. at Salix City Park. Matt?
Taylor Deckard in studio. Taylor, thank you. We continue our Team 4 coverage with KTIV's Sophie Wyckoff, who's live in downtown Sioux City. Sophie, MidAmerican Energy has a role in this land annexation as well.
That's correct, Matt. Last night, MidAmerican representatives were in attendance at the Salix City Council meeting. Now, they were there to answer citizens' concerns and questions with their role they're playing in this 900 acres of annexed land. Now, the representatives share their take on this potential data center project and say that this could be an opportunity for farmers and rural Woodbury County. MidAmerican actually has a data center advantage program offering help to data center owners and operators so that they can gain access to energy saving opportunities by helping identify and evaluate projects. When a company has interest in working with MidAmerican, they can fill out the MidAmerican Energy Data Center Advantage application form. At last night's meeting, the Vice President of Project Development for MidAmerican Energy said the 900 acres in Salix is an ideal location for a data center customer.
From a power perspective anyway, There are multiple high voltage transmission lines that cross this property or are very near to the property. So that's critical in serving any large load customer like this. So that's the primary reason.
At last night's City Council meeting, Mid-American's representatives said they wanted to be clear. Mid-American did not approach the city or the county about the land annexation. They also said they took pages of notes on the citizens' concerns. Mid-American representatives say they'll bring those concerns to the customer when Mid-American makes its final pick. At the time, they'll also address concern about a data center's environmental impact.
It will do, the customer, who will site there, will do many environmental and impact studies and will coordinate, with the city through their land use requirements to make sure all impacts are addressed.
Another concern residents had was about higher utility bills if a data center is built. An article from Mid-American entitled "How Mid-American Protects Customers from Data Center Costs." The utility says that their customers commit to paying for 10 years of power even if their power usage fluctuates. Mid-American insists these protections ensure that families, farmers, and small businesses never cover someone else's cost. Now, the Mid-American team from last night and Salix Mayor Kevin Nelson want to make it clear that this project is just the start.
KTIV's Sophie Wyckoff and Taylor Deckard for us tonight with team coverage on the story. Taylor and Sophie, thank you. Time to take a live look through the